Okay, so this is a little bit of a explanation of the distributive property, which basically we learned in the investigation was just taking whatever is in front of the bracket and multiplying it or distributing it through to everything that's inside the bracket. So let's look at some examples. So for example, in this first one, we're going to take the 2 and multiply it by x, and we get 2x. And then 2 and multiply it by 5, and we get plus 10. And then that's it because we don't have any like terms. So likewise, for the next one, negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Be careful with the next one. Negative 3 times negative 8 becomes a positive. And that's a very common mistake that people make. So really be careful with that. And then this last one, I'm actually going to write my work down here. So 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 4y becomes negative 8y. And 2 times 3 becomes plus 6. So again, another mistake people make often is they remember to multiply the number in front by the first term, but then forget to multiply it by all the subsequent terms. So be really careful with that. So what happens when we don't have numbers? What happens when there's two things put together? So we do the exact same process. We take the number that's in front of the first bracket, the 3, and multiply it by the x. So we get 3x. And then we also multiply it by the 6 and get plus 18. Then we're going to take the number in front of the second bracket. Now be careful with this one because what's in front is actually a negative 2. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. And negative 2 times negative 4, watch your signs, becomes positive 8. Now we can keep going because we have like terms. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the x's together. We're going to collect our like terms. And we're going to put our constants together. And then we're going to simplify. So 3x minus 4x becomes negative 1x or negative x. And 18 plus 8 becomes 26. Now that's our final answer because we no longer have like terms. So this next one looks at what happens when we don't have numbers in front of the brackets. Well, remember in math, when there's no number written in front, it means that there's a 1 in front. So there really is a number. It's just an invisible number. The interesting thing with this one is 1 times anything stays the same. So 1 times 2x is still going to be 2x. And 1 times 1 is still going to be 1. And 1 times 3x is still going to be 3x. And 1 times negative 4 is still going to be negative 4. So really all that we did here was just get rid of the brackets. Then we're going to do like we did on the last one, where we're going to put our like terms together. We put our x's together, and we put our constants together, and then we simplify. So we're going to get 5x, and 1 minus 4 is negative 3, so we get 5x minus 3, and that's our final answer. So that was if we were adding. It was kind of like we're adding two polynomials together. So in this one, again, there's no numbers, so we can put 1s in front. But this one's a little bit different because now this middle one is a minus 1. We're actually subtracting two polynomials. But the process becomes the same. 1 times 4x is just 4x. 1 times negative 4 stays as negative 4. Now be careful with the next one because it's negative 1 times x. So that's negative 1x. And negative 1 times negative 3 becomes positive 3. So watch your signs. And then we collect our like terms. So we put our x's together. We put our constants together. Oops, I wanted that to be a different color. And then we simplify. So 4x's, take away 1x is 3x. And negative 4 plus 3, be careful. It's not 4 plus 3. It's negative 4 plus 3 is minus 1. Okay? So that's what happens when there's no numbers. You can just put a 1 in front. And if it's just adding, nothing actually changes. And if you're subtracting, the signs change. So be really careful about that. So let's look at a final example, which puts a few of these together. So now we have multiple ones put together. So 4 times 2x becomes 8x. 4 times negative 5 becomes minus 20. Negative 1 times x becomes negative x. Negative 1 times 2 becomes negative 2. So be careful, watch your signs. Negative 3 times 4x becomes negative 12x. Negative 3 times negative 8 becomes positive 24. And then we're going to collect our like terms. So we're going to put all of our x's together. So anything that has an x, put together. And we put our constants together. And then we simplify. So 8x minus 1x is 7x. 7x minus 12x is negative 5x. Negative 20 minus 2 is negative 22. Negative 22 plus 24 becomes positive 2. And that's our final answer because we don't have any more like terms. And that is how you collect like terms and use the distributive property.